Hi folks, so nice to see you. Right, let me sort myself out. I've got my microphone on, you're there, I'm here. Here's my drawing board. Thank you so much for joining. It's really nice to see you. I hope you're all good. Nice weekend. It's lovely and sunny here in the UK. It's 3 o'clock, 3:01. And I'm really looking forward to this, partly because I'm curious to know how it's going to turn out, how this is going to work. If it's going to work, we'll see. So I will talk to you about what I'm doing, but how are you all? Anyone there? Just give me a shout. Thanks, I can see there's some people watching. I can see you on Instagram. Okay, so I will tell me if the volume is too low or high. Tell me if I need to turn the soundtrack down. I think I probably do a little bit. So today I'm majoring on reggae and ska for my soundtrack because I thought that was nice and summery. And we will be drawing, and if you want to you can draw along, but I'm assuming it's just like a watch and chat thing. So this is the plan. So I've got a commission from Miranda to draw these two beautiful cats, and I think you might call these tortoiseshell cats. I think that's the name for this sort of cat. Oh, hi Paul. Yes, well, lovely to have you with me. Lovely that you've torn yourself away from the platform. So yeah, so I was just showing these two cats. So I've got a few little things up my sleeve, but basically here is a greyed out version. And oh my goodness, hello Brian. Right, Brian, it's so lovely to see you. Hello Brian's wonderful lucky watchers. Thank you. And I've got something for you. Ready? Welcome, welcome. So nice to see you. Thank you so much, Brian, for bringing your lovely people with you. I'm really sorry, but this is my first ever experience of being raided, so I've no idea what to do, but I'm really happy to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brian. And hello official King Bravo. So it's really nice to have you. I have been watching Brian drawing his peanut butter jar. It looks amazing, and it was very hard to concentrate on setting up my own stream and not just follow you guys. So thanks, you're really welcome. So here is what we're doing. I'm going to be drawing this picture of two cats, and I'm going to be drawing it on white paper. So this is what I use. It's there we go, so hopefully you can see. So at the moment it's quite faint, and I'm going to do it two ways because I'm always interested. Hi Brian, so nice to see you. Thank you so much. Guys, tell me if the music's too loud or my voice is too quiet or whatever. Right, so I'm doing this for someone called Miranda, and I get a lot of commissions for portraits like this. So I have this mount card here, which I use just to check that the picture is the right size. But something I use sometimes, and I know that a lot of artists who do commercial portraits, thanks Brian, I am having a great stream now. Now that you're here, I'm definitely having a great stream. So the plan is, I'm basically going to do this two ways. So people tend to often use, just like old masters used to use, gridding. Oh, hi Miranda, it's really lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining, welcome. And oh great, I'm glad I got that right. Miranda, I don't know, are you watching on, where are you watching? Are you watching on YouTube? Yeah, it's really nice to have you. Thank you. You'll see some chat popping up down here. I've got a couple of people watching on other channels. So Brian is an artist and he also streams. So he's just done a really fantastic stream of, he's doing a landscape, but with his other hand he's doing a peanut butter jar. So okay, fantastic. Yeah, he's just Brian has just ended his stream. So so Miranda, I was showing the reference photos, so here they are. So these are the two beautiful cats. I wonder if they're yours, Miranda. I don't know, or if they're just friends of yours. But what I thought would be really interesting was to put myself to the challenge and see what difference I could make in terms of either doing it using something pre-drawn, so a bit like gridding used to be done. So people would take the original photo. So here there's a picture of the cats, and they would do it with boxes and then use that to transfer onto their canvas. So what I've done is like a digital equivalent of that. I've kind of traced it through an app that's called a Camera Lucida app. So this is the paper I'm using. I'm using Canson Bristol paper, and I really like it because it's very white and smooth and just nice to control. So for a challenge, and Miranda, I'm really interested to know what you think when you watch this. What I was going to do was I was going to basically draw it twice. So I don't know how far I'll get through with this, but I'm going to draw it 2 times. Once using the traced, prepared version, which means that I've got a kind of outline that's basically is a copy of the, oh, they're yours, Belle and Floss, wonderful. Okay, I'm going to write that down because I've got a terrible memory. Belle and Floss. And while you're there, Miranda, that's brilliant. So you can tell me, the cat on the left, I can't see their tail, and I'm wondering, is it a black tail like the other cat? Because I'm going to put the tail in. I guess you'd like to have both their tails, but so I just need to see really. So we're going to try it freehand as well, and thanks Brian. So this is my blank canvas, and then this is the pre-prepared one. So I will start by showing you how I would approach let me get my camera straight. There we go. Right. Make sure that's, and it's not very scenic, but I'm afraid I am going to put my glasses on so that I can see. Right, there we go. Right, we're down to business. So before I start, I wanted to mention 2 things. One is that there are various options, and there are various levels you can go. So here's the original photo. So I could draw from this, and in fact that is what I'm going to be doing. So I have a printout just so I've got a nice clear one to see. Another thing that's quite handy to do, and you can do this whether you're doing oil paints or drawing, is you can transfer your picture. You can just grey it. So just put it through any camera app, and you can switch it over to grayscale. And if you're doing a black and white drawing, or if you're doing an underpainting for an oil painting, then this is a really handy tip, because if you compare the two, I will put my references. I've got a screen for references. So here we are. Look, if I compare these two, particularly on the top one, look at the blanket, and look on the left at the blanket. You can see that the yellow really stands out, doesn't it, to us? So it looks to me, if I was drawing that in black and white, I would probably make that yellow quite a lot lighter. But if you look at the, yeah, you're right, Brian, it does, it removes colour distortion. So if you look at the grey picture, you can see that actually those yellow flashes on the blanket aren't really that bright. It's just that they're a different colour, so they stand out because the colour's so different to the green colour. So I just thought that was quite interesting, and also the ducks. So maybe when I'm doing it in pencil, what I might do is actually go more the way that our eye processes the information. So I might make those yellow bits stand out a little bit more. We'll see. Right, so time to do a bit of actual drawing, because I have had complaints in the past about too much chatting and not enough actual drawing. So here we are. I've got it's got a bit of a shadow on there, but hopefully that will, there we go, it's a bit better. And let me focus it. So tell me if it looks Okay, right, there we go. So I've got my picture, I've got my reference picture, and if you want to do a draw along, then you're really welcome. It's a great thing to do. I tend to use very soft pencils, so the reference photo is on my website. I'm just going to look in my stash of pencils and try and see if I can find something harder to use just to start with. And also, today's exciting tool is a stump. So this is called a stump. It's basically it's a roll of paper. There you are. You can see. Graying did make Oh yes. So Paul, who's on the chat, who's planes, trains, and automobiles. Miranda, Paul's watching on YouTube as well. So Paul has been doing a portrait of a cat for somebody and a commission, and he also did that greying out, and it really helps. So if you're doing a drawing and you want to try that, then highly recommended. Okay, so Miranda, let me know what colour the tails are and I can take account of that. So I'm going to freehand map it out to start with, I'm just using a 2B pencil. And I'm just looking at I've got the picture on the same sort of plane. So it's parallel to my paper, I've got it flat. And I'm going to just kind of try, now I know that you like the blanket. So I'm moving the cats fairly high up, like that. I'm making absolutely no reference at all to my, no reference to the pre-prepared computer traced, my traced version. So now I'm thinking, where would you'd want the tails, I suppose, like that. So we've got one there, one there. Now I could have done this sight size, but again, I'm really trying to do this totally by eye because I'm quite curious to know. Oh, the official King Bravo, you're terrible at anything related to art. Well, you're not terrible at watching, surely. Do you like watching? Maybe, there's no point in all of us being producers. We have to have consumers as well. And if you're watching this, then I guess you like art. And I think you might have come from Brian's stream, so thank you if you've stuck around. That's really nice. You're very welcome. Right, so the trouble with this is it's quite hard to show on camera, but I'm basically just very faintly trying to look at the proportions of these cats. And I'm looking for negative spaces. So I'm looking for shapes that I recognise. And I'm also trying to, let's go in a bit closer so you can really see. See if I can do it there. There, can you see that there? Okay, so right now we are drawing this. So we're drawing this picture. This is two cats. They are called, I've forgotten already, Bella and Floss, and they belong to, oh thanks, you're too kind. They belong to Miranda. So Miranda's watching as well. Miranda's on YouTube. And I'm doing a compare and contrast. So I'm doing, this is it. I've got like a head start on this one. This is for this is digitally assisted. So what I'm trying to do is just by eye rather than traced. I'm trying to get this picture pretty quickly to the same stage. And so I'm also trying to consider the anatomy of the cat. So we've got a leg coming down here. So to start with, I'm afraid it's going to be a little bit hard to see what I'm drawing. Floss has a whiter tail with patches of brown on it. Okay, right. Well, the nice thing about this, Miranda, is it's pencil. And as we all know, pencil, we've got this option. So if it goes, if it's not quite right, I can always tone it down or change it with the rubber. So they spend a lot of time on this sofa, do they, Floss and Belle? Right. So Miranda's commission has come as a gift from a very dear friend of mine called Tom, who runs a choir that I used to sing. How long have I been an artist? Oh, well, I suppose I started doing it professionally in 2015, when I was in Dubai, when my youngest child, who's now 9, went to school. And then I thought, right, this thing that I've always had as a hobby, I'm going to do as a try and make a go of it. So I do a lot of commissions, and I do all sorts of things. So I do pets, and I do nudes, and I do landscapes, and I have my work in a really great gallery in Glastonbury called Heart of the Tribe. Highly recommend them. So where are you then? Are you in the Philippines, the same as Brian? I wonder, maybe you're friends in real life. And Miranda, how do you know my friend Tom, who gave you this present? I wonder what your connection is. I think you might be family. But, they do like the sofa. Oh right, oh those cat trees, they're brilliant, aren't they? Yeah. Right then, let's so here we go. I've got a little bit of contingency as well. Whenever I do a portrait, I use this mount card, because that shows me the margins without cutting the paper. Ah, he's your cousin. Oh right, thank you. Yeah, so Tom's children went to the same school as my children. That's how we know each other, in Bristol. Right, so I always use this, and I always have a piece of paper that's very slightly bigger, because it means that I've got a bit of option to move the subject around on the page and make sure it all fits in. Right, now we've got these ducks, so I hope you can see the proportions. This is actually probably the hardest bit, kind of getting these proportions right. But I'm looking at things like, here's a really good negative shape. I don't know if you can see, there's almost a square here, there. I could almost draw it as a rectangle. You're okay, Brian. Yeah, well done. You must be tired, Brian. Brian's been streaming for, I don't know how many hours you've been streaming for, Brian. But and when I can do it, I'm going to work out how to host your stream as well. Brian has been very, very generous, and I'm really looking forwards to Brian getting a camera so I can see what he actually looks like. Yes, it is quite tiring, isn't it? Tiring, but very good fun. Okay, so here we go. The other nice thing about doing it by hand instead of doing it in a tracing is that you can play around with the proportions. So you can see I can make these duck's heads slightly bigger and slightly more conspicuous, because I know Miranda likes them. Because Tom told me you like this, or you told me, Miranda. Right, so in order to make this a little bit more exciting, I'm going to move over to the other one now. So I'm going to dot between the two of them, and then you can see both. So here's the other one. So you can probably see a very different approach to this. I've got a light sketch when I'm doing it manually, by eye, and then when I'm doing it with the computer I can make much more confident marks because I know they're in the right place. So I use a camera Lucida app, it's called Artist's Eye, but there are loads, they're really cheap. So let's just get that, I'll get this on. So this is the size that the finished picture is going to be, so I've got that as a reference. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of take my glasses off, because actually, let's go there high. So when you're drawing, if you are trying to get the proportions right, sometimes lots of things can be really distracting. Colour is really distracting, and also sometimes the busyness of the shapes if there's lots of detail. So I'm going to take my glasses off and you can chat to me. And you can chat to each other and ask questions while I do this. So what I'm trying to do is basically avoid going too getting too hung up on the detail, and I'm trying to look for what we call the big shapes. So now this cat here, is that floss on the right then, Miranda? I think it probably is. Okay, so what do you guys who are watching, what do you think? I'm especially interested in artists and the official King Bravo. I'm interested in what you think as an objective person who's possibly not got their own preconceived notion based on having done it, because it is a source of great debate. I think a lot of artists feel very strongly about this. A lot of artists think it is rampant cheating to copy, or rather to do this sort of tracing, or sometimes portrait artists literally trace with tracing paper. That's another thing you can do, but the advantage of the apps is that you can change the proportions. So you can, if you want to scale your drawing up or down using an app, it's much easier. So you can see I'm just committing some of these, and also can you see one of the great advantages of using these apps is the speed. So I'm really making fast progress. So this didn't take very long to get ready, and already I hope you can see it's really starting to look like cats. So what do you guys think of tracing? Do you think, so I did ask this question on Instagram earlier, and I had some really interesting, I did a vote from my followers, who a lot of them are artists, so it was really interesting to hear what they thought. And in general it was split 50-50, which I was surprised at. I thought more people would object to tracing. And one of the points that was made was that tracing is, it removes the sort of teaching, the learning that you get. Thank you, Miranda. I'm really glad. So that's Belle, is it? This is Belle. Let me see, you said about, no, Floss has a whiter tail. Okay, so this is Floss on the left. I placed on her. Ah, yes. You do, yeah, I think Dolphin Prime, yeah, thank you. I think I know what you mean. From a technical point of view, without the tracing, it is more impressive. If you're just, if you're really looking at the skill, converting an image to onto paper, so from 3D to 2D, or from a photo onto paper, is a skill in itself. Yes, and I think that's a part of the learning thing that my friend, what the reference that that's Floss. Okay, brilliant. I've got their names written the other way around. I'll try and remember. Yes. So do you think if you were commissioning a work, would you feel cheated if you knew that the artist had started like this? So the artist had started with a copy? Because I think quite a lot of people might, but I also think that quite a lot of artists actually do it and don't say. So I think a lot of professional artists do this and keep quiet. And the reason I think that is because of the nature of this drawing that I was talking about before. So when you see this done, you can see how confidently the marks are put down, and there is a sort of outliney thing about it. And now I'm going to get this gorgeous paw in here. I think that is so lovely, that beautiful Floss's little black pad on the paw. There we go. And I'm going to get that, I'm just kind of going in with, so there's some things here which show the 3D element. Right, there we go. So we've got here a little bit of what we call cast shadow under that paw. I'll have a quick look at the reference photo for you so you can see. Let's see. I'm going to going to get the original reference photo and make it nice and big. So you can see we are talking about this paw here. So the paw of the cat on the left, who is Floss, and it's got a really beautiful pad, lovely black pad. And can you see under it, it's really dark, and that makes that paw pop forward. And also under Floss's, oh, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. It was really great. Yeah, so when I did your portrait, I did the same thing. I did start with an outline, and I'll come on to a few more reasons why sometimes it does work. Okay, let's, so I'm going to also, if we go back to the drawing board, I'll show you, here we go, there is a dark area here. So from this point onwards, I'm not using the computer at all. So what I really used the, the digital tracing for was for making sure I had the positions of the cats fitting really well inside the this area, and making sure as well that their proportions are right. So in a minute I'm going to go back onto the other drawing and we'll have a look at that, but let's just get a little bit more headway. So now really they're on level pegging for this next bit. Okay, so we've got some nice dark areas here. Okay, so Miranda, you said that Floss's tail is a bit white and brown. So I've got it here. At the moment I've got it slightly darkened in. So can you tell me where the white is? Is the white, you know, if you imagine the tail and it's like the tip, if you could tell me what colour the tip is, whether it's really just if it's dark or light, and then is the rest of the tail light or is it mostly dark? Just let me know and we'll have a go. It's just because I can't see it in the photograph. So anyway, here we've got a nice bit of shadow there, and here we go, put that in. So the other things to consider when you're looking at evaluating whether it's worth using these tools is what finished result you're trying to get. Are you trying to get, oh, was it? Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad you like it. I haven't got headphones, I can't actually hear what's playing, but Breaking Bad, gosh, did you watch that then? I watched a little bit. I found it really quite awful. I think since I had kids, I don't have a very high tolerance level for all sorts of horror and violence on telly. So yeah, I've become quite wet. I was watching the beginning of a very tame horror film with my 9-year-old, really tame, and I couldn't even get through the credits. I was totally scared witless by it. Look at this beautiful black tail, and I love things like this. So you can see, because I'm using a really soft pencil, this is 7B, so it goes lovely and dark really easily, and I'm not going to have to work over that at all. There. So another thing to consider when you're looking at evaluating what you want in a portrait in a commission is do you want a really good likeness? Because if you want a really good physical likeness, you want your picture to look like the dog, the cat, the person, the house, then one of probably the key element for getting a likeness is the actual proportions and the scale. So on a person, it's like how long, you know, what shape is, so I've got a very long face, and how long is their face, where are their features, and there are subtle changes. Oh, it's ska and reggae. Okay, brilliant. I'm glad you like it. I thought it was nice and summery. Yeah. So so if that's what you're after, then asking an artist to draw something from eye is you will get a distortion of those things. It doesn't take much, the official King Bravo. It just takes time, practice. I bet you're good at other things. What do you do then? I bet you have other things. Are you a friend of Brian's? Brian's amazing. I think you came with Brian's raid. Thank you for sticking around as well. Right, so I'm going to work on this one for a little bit, and I'm going to be a bit bolder because hey, thanks Leon. It's lovely of you to join. Thank you so much. So welcome Leon. This, just to show you, this is the one. I'm doing two versions of Miranda's cats. So you can see on the left the reference photos, and this is a version where I've given myself a head start in the arrangement of the picture, and here I'm doing it by eye. So let's go in, and I'm going to do some squinting, and I'm going to get that on the top of Floss's head. Let's get that black area there. Let's get Floss's muzzle there. And I'm going to try and bring it, I probably won't be able to take it quite to the level of the other one, but let's have a look at those shapes. So I'm still got my glasses off and I'm still squinting. 10,000 hours, yes, in front of me. The end of the tail is white with a few brown splodges. Ah, right, okay, that's great, thank you. Come on then, the official King Bravo. I bet you're good at something. Bet you do things. The most overrated artist. Well, Brian and I have had quite a chat about this the other day. So I think I have a bit of a problem with Jackson Pollock. Let's just say I can't see the charm. So Jackson Pollock is an American artist, obviously not here to defend himself. You play video games. Ah, right. So are you on Twitch as a streamer then? Does that mean? Because I can see you've got a badge. You've got a like a crown badge. I'm such a newbie. Oh, really? Oh, brilliant. Okay, right. Well, I'll follow you then. What do you play? I'm not gonna know. But Leon, who's watching, he might know because he's my teenage boy. So Leon might know the game if you tell me what games you play. Or are you a variety streamer? I've been doing my homework. You're a variety streamer! Wow! Do you watch LJ? I watch quite a lot of LJ. I like his stuff. Not his streams actually, I watch him on YouTube. Right. Now let's see, I'm trying to imagine then, I do it very differently. So I'm looking at this shape here, this triangle shape. I think they're a variety streamer as well, but they Twitch, Stream Scheme I think they are. Is that right? But LJ, he's on YouTube as well, and he does lots of tips about how to get people in your stream and how not to be a rubbish streamer, which you can see I haven't quite digested yet. Right, I'm just going to move the camera onto my drawing board a little bit more so you can see while we talk. So what do you stream then? Right, let's try and look at those. So I'm looking at, I can see a kind of shape, like a diamond shape here. I had a really fantastic experience last night. I watched a model was modelling, so I was drawing him. I can show you. He was on Zoom, so I was doing we were doing Zoom life drawing, and he's a fantastic model who I follow on Instagram, called Dominic Blake. Well, actually he would have it that he's not really a model anymore. I believe he considers himself to be an artist. So he is an artist and his body is his tool, so he makes shapes in space. Right, can someone else answer? Have you done 6 paintings total? Yeah. We are of one view, Dolphin Prime. Yep, totally. And what about you, Miranda? Do you paint, I wonder? From all different... You play chess? Oh, you play chess! Oh, okay. Cool. Well, that's also interesting because my friend Derek, who... I don't know if Derek's watching. I suspect he's got better things to do on a Sunday, Saturday. But he plays a lot of chess and he's teaching us. Right, now I'm looking at getting Floss's eye in the right position. As I said, it makes a big difference getting... So, where the eye is. So, Dolphin Prime, do you think you would feel cheated then if you commissioned an artist to do a portrait? And this isn't a loaded question, I'm really interested to know. Because I know that quite a lot of professional artists do it, and not all of them... Well, I don't know anyone who's really that open about it, because I think that maybe, I don't know why they wouldn't tell people, maybe they think people would judge them. Maybe they want to keep that kind of mystique. So here's one thing that you can really notice from this drawing. Yeah. Well, one of the things that this really does, you like both. You're very diplomatic, Dolphin. One of the things that doing it with the tracing is that you save loads of time. So you really, and I have seen one professional artist, Stan Prokopenko, who I know Brian likes as well. I follow him quite a lot. He's great. And he does a lot of teaching too. So I highly recommend Stan. You're not an artist and you don't play chess. Oh my goodness, Miranda, wow. So you've got two going on 3 dogs and 2 cats, golly. That must take a lot of time at feeding time. I bet you get lots of love from them then. I bet you are very popular in your house. Right, let's get those shapes. So the thing is, it's about the sort of likeness that you want. Hey Brian, made a finish. Oh, did you? Okay, well thank you very much. I'm having a lovely time chatting to your friends, Dolphin Prime and the official King Bravo. And we're touching base on Jackson Pollock. So here we are. Look at that. So maybe I'd spent about the same amount of time on these two. So this is the one by hand. But I did obviously have a bit of a head start with this one, and then this is the one doing it by... so you can see I've probably got the measurements pretty good, I think. It's not too bad, not too far off. But in terms of getting a likeness, you get a different sort of likeness. So if you use a tracing app, you'll get Jackson all which famous painting is always sad? Oh, hang on. Right, Brian, Dolphin Prime, the official King Bravo, and Miranda, please meet my dear son Leon. And I got him on, I have to confess. Thank you, Miranda, I'm really glad. So what we're doing is we are also trying to have some fun. So if I don't finish your picture, I will finish it later today and send you a picture. So it's definitely going to happen today. But the reason Leon's come on is because I didn't even have to bribe him. I said, Leon, will you come on please and help me get some chat going? So Leon, if there's one thing he does well, it's chat. So you need to meet Brian. Right, let's get on with this drawing. Okay, so I'm using this reference photo, and let's get some of that blanket in. So I'm trying to just get those tones right. And when you're doing oil painting, one of the things you do is you reserve the lightest lights and darkest darks for the end. So you kind of try and avoid going there with them. So Miranda, this tail here is light at the tip, I think you said. So I'm going to do that. We've got a bit of shadow here, but I'm going to leave that, and maybe you can, is Leon the youngest? Yeah, he's the middle one, middle child. And he will tell you, or actually Leon is on YouTube, aren't you Leon? Go on and you can promote your YouTube. Guys, if you want to send your links to, I don't know, actually I don't think you can put links on here, but you can put the names of your channels, and I will go and look back through, and I'm sure Leon will give you all a follow, won't you Leon? He's not proud. So Leon, the official King Bravo is a variety streamer, and I did ask what games they play. I don't know if whether you're a he or a she or a they, but they are they play games. So I figured if I waited till you turned up, Leon, you could make some meaningful conversation about what game they play, because I predict that unless it's Fortnite, I'm not going to know, or Call of Duty. There's some very dodgy art that happens on Twitch as well. A lot of body painting, which I'm not at all sure about, but each to their own. I prefer body painting to Jackson Pollock. Right, Leon, wait for a minute. Wait, it's all in the timing, Leon. Okay, so you've delivered your joke. Now wait and see if anyone can guess. Maybe Miranda can guess. Okay, yeah, I don't, maybe I need to turn it off on the chat so that you can put your links on. Sorry, Leon. Thank you for looking though, Brian. Right. So I'm also, it's really interesting, especially when you're doing white animals. I think it's interesting how very dark the shadows of the white are. You're challenging me for a doodle. Okay, what do you mean? Oh, I see. That's what they say. Leon, is that a joke? Darling, your standard. I didn't think it could go down, but it has. It's gone even lower, Leon. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't go away, darling. I know, right? Yeah. Leon, I think you should come in and say hello. He's only upstairs in his bedroom. Who thinks Leon should come and say hello? Ah, Miranda, if you look on the screen, you should be able to see Leon's chat. So can you see, let me show you. So can you see just down there? I think you should be able to see, he's Leon Blogs 123. So it's because Leon is chatting on, he's chatting on Twitch and you're chatting on YouTube. Can you see? Hi Lily, thank you so much for joining. It's lovely to see you, lovely to have you. So I'm drawing Miranda's cats. These cats here are, this is Floss on the left and Belle on the right. Yeah. And so I'm doing a bit of a challenge. It's really nice of you to join. So I'm doing a bit of a challenge, and the challenge is I've got two versions on the go. So this version I did effectively did a okay, so Miranda, can you see the chat all right now? I hope that you can. So you should be able to see. Lily said hello. Oh, good. Oh, thank you so much. So I'm doing two versions. So this version is, I had a head start with tracing, which I did using a digital app called Artist's Eye, which is a camera lucida app. And this is drawn from scratch by eye. So I'm kind of doing a sort of a challenge just to see how different they look. So thank you. I'm really pleased you think so. So Right, yeah. Leon, I think Paul thinks you should come and say hi. Why don't you come and say hi for a minute? Actually, do you know what? That would be really good. It would get him out of his bedroom. I expect he's probably running down the stairs. He might need to bring a cup of tea as well. If you came and said hi with a cup of tea, that'd be even better, darling. Right, so let's see. So I was saying how you look for the darkest. So when you're doing a drawing by eye, as opposed to an oil painting, or if you're doing the underpainting, you can do the same. Sometimes it's quite good to look for what we call the negative shapes. So we look for, I'm not really drawing this paw, I'm drawing round the paw. So I'm drawing these there, like that. Excuse me. Right, and I need to check as well that Floss's tail is still going to fit. So I've got my mount card here, just making sure that, there we go. So we've got this hind leg here. And I think, there we go. You should be okay. So what tends to happen when you draw it by hand, by eye, rather than doing it using a tracing or some other means of converting the basic proportions, is you tend to get, a lot of people think you get more of the feeling of the thing. So yeah, you can say. Right, I'm going to show you some drawings. So here are some, I just had these, okay, there we go. Right, Leon, you can come and say hi if you want. I think there's a general consensus that you need to. So I've just put these on to show you that, let's put them here. So some of these are drawn from references and some of them are drawn from life. So this one here is drawn from a photo and these are drawn from photos, but they're drawn by hand. So none of these are traced. So usually when I'm drawing, this is drawn from life, the bird skulls. So usually when I'm drawing, right, here he comes, I can hear him coming down the stairs. You ready? Oh, you can see the young, there he is. All right, you say hello.
Hello everyone.
So you can say hello to, there's Brian and Lily and Miranda. So these are Miranda's cats here. So there, that is Miranda's cat.
How cute.
Yeah, they are. And Miranda's got 2 dogs and a puppy coming as well.
Whoa.
Yeah, so here he is.
The famous Leon.
Yeah. Right, where's my cup of tea?
Upstairs somewhere.
Okay, can you go and get
Waiting
it?
to be made.
Okay, can you go and make me a cup of tea?
Okay.
Thank you.
He's got one right there.
Leon, says Lily. Do you know this, Lily?
I do.
Oh, hello, Lily. Thank you so much.
You got a cup of tea there.
I know it's cold.
Oh,
Say goodbye to Lily.
goodbye, Lily. I'll put it in the microwave.
Hey, Miranda said hello as well.
Hi, Miranda.
Yeah, you could actually. You can put it in the microwave. I'm not
You want me to
proud.
make you a fresh one?
Yes, please. Actually, I don't mind. Just put it in the microwave. Thank you.
How long?
Oh, how long? A minute, or slightly less maybe. Right, let's get on with this. Okay, so we're drawing. You're not here to meet my family, apart from Lily. Right, Lily, please don't go now that you've seen me. You can really if you want to. Okay. So he'll be back in a minute with a cup of tea. Right, so what I was going to say was, in terms of likeness, if you're drawing, I will link his blog later. Yeah, that's a good idea, Brian. Thank you. So if you're drawing by eye, you may not get the proportions right, but some people, me included, feel that you get a different sort of thing, and I think you get more of the spirit of the subject. And unfortunately, it's very popular now. People want, I think people have got so used to photographs that they possibly don't value that sort of thing unless, unless a portrait really looks like the spitting image of a subject, they don't consider it valuable. Oh, thanks, Lily. Yeah, Brian, if you're stuck with some life skills like useful things like how to drink water. Leon does lots of really useful videos on things like, what else does he do, Lily? It's like how to eat a piece of fudge. He's really helpful, and I have to say in real life he's also really helpful for things like that. If you actually want him to do something like load the dishwasher, it's not quite as thank you, darling, I'm talking about you, not to you. Thank you. Okay, can you put it down there? Thank you very much. Right, Lily has just shouted out, oh, Sarah's saying hi as well.
Hi, Sarah.
Guys, I'd just like you to remind you it's my show. Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's right, Dolphin Prime. Yeah, people, it's the same with music, it's the same with all sorts of things. Yeah. So people have become accustomed to it. And, you could argue as well, the customer's right, by definition, they're the customer. So I did a commission recently and I took it as a great compliment. The people who commissioned it said they'd been comparing the drawing, the painting, with the reference photo, and they felt that the painting was better. And I thought that was really nice because I think people do. When they're trying to evaluate a portrait, they very often get the photo and compare it, and I do that as well for my own, trying to evaluate and learn. Because if we weren't trying at all to get it to look like the subject, are you still here?
Yeah. I'll leave.
Okay, you can. Yeah, please. But please, thank you very much for inviting your charming friends to my stream.
Au revoir, everyone. Good luck.
Thank you, darling.
Not you, Dan.
Thank you. So if what was I saying? If we weren't trying to get some sort of a physical resemblance to what we were drawing, we'd end up like Jackson Pollock. We're back in the Jackson Pollock thing. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Yours was a bit of both, Paul. And it was really, sometimes actually taking the photo is part of the creative process. Oh, thank you, Sarah. That's really kind. So yeah, taking the photo can be part of the creative process, and I suppose that was the case with yours, Paul, because you look at where the light is, you look at composition. Yes, I know, Brian. Can you believe someone makes videos about how to eat stuff? That's fine, Paul. No, thank you. I know what you meant. I think I know what you meant. Right, let's get this lovely duck in, Miranda. Your duck blanket. So is this the cat's blanket, Miranda? Is this there? There we go. I've got a bit here. So I'm going to go back to the other one in a minute. So there's an extent to which we all want to reproduce what we can see, isn't there? And that is definitely part of my learning journey as an artist, trying to do you think Leon is a funny person, Sarah? Well, I think I have to agree, but can you imagine living with him? Imagine that, just for 1 minute. Yeah, he's very kind, and I'll tell you a little story about Leon. So Leon's younger brother is back there. So when Leon's younger brother was born, Leon was 4 or 5. Thanks, Brian. You're very kind. Right, so Leon was 4 or 5, and Tom, his younger brother, I don't know what he had, tummy ache or what it was. And you can, oh my goodness, right. Well, perhaps we could talk. Perhaps we could arrange some sort of a transfer. Have you got any, Sarah? Do you have any siblings who you might like to swap for Leon? Because we could do a bit of a trade. That's what I'm thinking. Right. So when Leon's brother Tom was a tiny baby, he used to cry quite a lot, and Leon used to say, I was trying to rock him. It's a sofa throw. Ah, this one is one of your favourite pictures of a cat. Oh, great. And Miranda, can you see the chat okay now? I hope now you can see other people. Oh, you've got 5 siblings. So Miranda, I hope now you can see that the chat, what I've done is I've arranged for it to come here. It doesn't come from Instagram, but it comes from Facebook if anyone's watching. Sometimes my friend Debs watches on Facebook. Yeah, right, let's move back to this. So now this is the hand-drawn one, and this is the computer-drawn one. They do look pretty similar, but probably benefiting from the fact that I don't have a very good camera setup here on this, particularly today, I think because the drawing's quite small. Okay, Sarah, so let's talk then. Let's talk about, we could do a swap, but before that, great, I'm really pleased, Miranda. Cheers. So when Tom was a little baby, he used to scream and scream and scream, and I never worked out what it was. He was my 3rd child, and I still couldn't work out how to stop him screaming, which was very sad but true. But Leon used to say, I can do it, and he used to go up straight into Tom's face like this, and Tom was just like, ah, and Leon would go, Nino, 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 and Tom, this little baby, like a few days old, would go, and he'd freeze and go completely still and quiet, and so Leon would say, there you are, see, and however much I try to tell him, I don't think he's being quiet because he's been lulled to comfort by your emergency services noises. Leon, that's the sort of brother that Leon is, Sarah. So I'd like to swap, please, for just temporarily, just for about 6 years, and then I'll have him back when he's 20. Leon. So Leon, I hope it's okay. You're going to go and live in Sarah's house. We're just sorting it out now. We're just sorting out the fine details. And actually, I think I'd like to be one of Miranda's cats because I think they've got a very good life. So in that case, what could we do? Maybe Sarah could come and live here. You want to go and live at Sarah's? Or Sarah, you want Sarah? You're going to go and live at Sarah's. Okay, you can go and live at Sarah's. Yeah, but Sarah, what I want to know which sibling I'd like to meet, because I don't want you, I don't want you giving me a duffer. Oh, Miranda? Do you mean does Tom know it? Yeah, Tom does taekwondo, so he's completely invincible and totally unscared of Leon, and Leon can't actually shut him up anymore. He's lost his ability to make Tom lost for words, because Tom is never lost for words. So the other thing I notice about doing it this way, hot brandy. Oh, okay. What was she going to do with the hot brandy then, Paul? What was your gran going to do? And by the way, if anyone wants to ask for a shout out, I would really like that. And Brian, who's on here, who you will see, Gyre Brian Fine Art. Brian streams art, and Brian has been doing a very nice line in shout-outs. I don't know if you're still going to be doing it, Brian, but Brian does a wonderful singing shout-out, so I think it's important that we make a crossover between the arts. However, I'm not offering a singing shout-out, although, fun trivia fact, Miranda's cousin Tom, who's my friend, used to, or does run a choir, and that choir was a choir that I used to sing in, and it is a lovely small choir, and they sing a cappella, all sorts of stuff, you know, like Renaissance, old music and new music. Yeah, don't know how we got onto that. Anyway, Brian does singing shout outs, so go watch Brian's stream and get a shout out. He's too happy he's packing his bags. Yes, Miranda. See what I have to deal with. So I hope this actually. I think this could work out really nicely. But I'm not stupid, Sarah. So we need to talk about the replacement. I'm looking. What do you think I should look for, folks? What should I look for in a replacement child? If I'm going to replace Leon, what are the best qualities to look for? I'm thinking it has something to do with a deep-seated love of tidiness, revision, great respect for your parents. We always a hot brandy drink if okay. Now let's have a look at this. So you can see this has really saved a lot of time, and I'm not having to concentrate so much on this version of the drawing because all the hard decisions are kind of made already. There's the fold over of the blanket. You've got a bit of reflection on there. There we go, you can see that better. Yep, cups of tea. That's a very important life skill. What if who were too naughty together? Yeah, but that's okay because you'll be in your house. So Leon will be in your house, Sarah. So I'm not worrying. You know, it's all relative. I don't imagine you've got any siblings who are harder to live with than Leon. Have you? I wonder. I wonder if Brian, if you've got any siblings. I have a feeling you might. Right. I think you'd be a lovely big brother, Brian. Right. Now, let's go. We're missing a bit of detail over here. And I might just move it onto my drawing board so it's a little bigger too, because I can see that's not very big for you. Put that there. And zoom in a little bit. There. You can see. They're in their rooms or at the gym all day. Oh wow. That sounds amazing. They sound really good, although what happens when I call upstairs and say, can someone come and help empty the dishwasher? Have you got any siblings who would be... Leon, are you flirting on my Twitch stream, Leon? There, you see what this is doing is this is just making all the people who are watching feel very sorry for me. Or you. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think we need to worry about any money being involved. I'm very happy for this to go. But Sarah, you still haven't answered my question about siblings. What have you got to offer me? Ages as well. And I think actually what I'd really like is another girl, because the testosterone level in this house is a bit high. So do you think you could manage that? Have you got any spare girls in your household? And please will someone request a shout out? Otherwise I might just give one to somebody without asking. I think Miranda, you might like this. It's nothing, you don't have to do anything. It's just a nice surprise. But it's something totally different that I will do for you on this stream live. You've only got brothers. Oh my goodness. Right. I think yeah, Miranda, you've got him in one. You have totally got him. He has no shame. No. Leon, did you hear that? Miranda's got the measure of you already and she hasn't even met you. Favourite child can have a shout. Oh. Who's my favourite child then, Leon? I can give you a shout out, yes. Unless anyone else, but it's really rude to do that when you have visitors. So that's a bit like if people come round, you have to offer them food first. So I'm just going to wait and see. Poor sons and one of their girlfriends living, even if I got to beg, even then. Yeah, I'm really surprised, Paul. Your boys they seem, you know, so lovely and they're so charming and quiet and all those things. I'm really surprised. I thought they would be, you know, fighting over each other to get your tea. I thought they would be wrestling for the privilege of bringing you tea. Right. Now, I can see if I squint, this cat's arm needs a bit of it. And so this is Belle, and Belle has got a beautiful tabby effect going on here, which is really lovely. There. And even though Belle is white back here, I think the dark of her cheek edge there is darker. So, but it's quite dark because it's in the shadow there. Leon, come on, somebody else. Somebody else. Don't make me do a shout out for Leon. I might have to use my Hello Raiders stream. Did you like your Hello Raiders screen, Brian? And Raiders. They take after their dad. You're not lazy, Paul. You're anything but lazy. Or is that not what you mean? Right, let's get. So there's some lovely tabby markings in here. And when you're doing markings on animals, particularly, it's really important to try and get them right on a portrait because you may not know where they are, but the owner definitely knows. So I bet you, if I get these markings wrong, Miranda is going to know. And Miranda's not going to be. She's going to say, what cat is that? And where's my picture of my cats? Right. Shout Leon out. Sarah, whose side are you on? I don't need to ask that, do I? Okay, right, I will do Leon's shout out in the hope then. I see, quiet and shy. Well, quiet and shy, but they're the ones you have to watch, Paul. So my mother told me. Right, I'm going to do a little shout out for Leon. So here we go. This is the picture that I've drawn using a head start from the computer, and then this is the version that I've drawn by hand. And this one looks rather different, mostly because it's just I haven't spent as long on it. And I'm probably not going to spend quite as long on this because, oh, she's got a ginger leg. Ah, oh, cool, yes. There. Oh, right, okay. Does she, like, you know, put it best foot forward? Right, okay, now I'm going to do a shout out. And what I want is for someone else to request a shout out as well. So I'm going to take my coloured pens. So Paul, I think you've seen these shout outs before, haven't you? And Brian knows what it is. But what I don't have anymore is a shout out soundtrack, but I might do it. If you give me a second, I could perhaps, hold on 1 second. Right, talk amongst yourselves for 1 second. I'm going to do something. Right, I'm going to use my Raiders screen. And let's see. No, I don't think that's going to work. No. Right, let's not bother with that. It's not going to work. Here we are. Ta-da! Right, we're in the radar screen. So now what I need to do is get the camera, that's this, onto here. Nope. Okay, I'm just getting ready now for the shout out. Right, you don't need to see me. Right, I'm going to say bye. Okay, yep. No, I'll just hide that. Okay, right. Ready? Go on. Okay, I'm here. I'm still here. So here is the shout out thing. Right, let's make that a bit bigger. Like the music. Are you ready? She gets a ginger leg out with you, right. Okay, I wonder if those cats are watching this now. Right, Miranda, I am going to get back to your cats in a second, but have a look at this then. Are we ready? Going back to the drawing board. Okay, so Leon's shout out. Let's have a colour. Can someone name me a colour, please, from here? What would you like? We've got blue, purple, yellow, green, red, orange. Actually, I need two colours. First two colours that you say. Miranda, what's your favourite colour? What should we have? So this is for Leon's shout out. Yeah, Sarah. Okay, come on then. Tell me the colours. I need two colours for Leon's shout out. Blue. Okay, you've got it. Blue. And another one, please. Miranda, what would be your favourite colour if it's not already blue? I'm a big fan of blue, as you can see. Blue. Okay, right. Well, in that case, I will do, well, we're obviously all the blue lovers on this channel. Fantastic. Well, I approve of your taste. So I'm going to use a dark blue and a light blue. Right. Ready? Now let me see what you can see. I'll move the camera up a little bit. There we go. Okay, now here we go. Look, I've got a friend here. This is Soggy Rabbit. Say hello, Soggy Rabbit. Hello. Right, Soggy Rabbit. Soggy Rabbit is going to do a shout out for Leon. Ready? Yes? Okay, here we go. Right. Are you ready? Watching, Leon? Okay. Okay. Oh right, okay, so Soggy Rabbit is very well trained to put the lids on. And we're going to use the other colour now. Right, now let's see what we can do. Here we go. You ready? This is the really risky, high risk bit. Are you feeling brave? Are you as brave as Paul? No, I don't think you are. Right, let's go for, right, what am I doing? Okay, ready? Let's try and intersect. There we are. Leon, there's your calligraphy shout out with I'm going to do a little suitcase there for you because there we go. There's your suitcase all packed, ready to go and live with Sarah. Okay, and Leon. Here we go, Sarah. Right, and let's get down on there, and I'm going to show you this in what is now our dancing room. Ready? You can all get up and dance. Here we go. Okay, quite enough of that. Right, hope you enjoyed that. So if anyone else wants a shout out, I'll do another one before we finish. Right, now this is a serious business. Miranda, I'm really hoping that you're tempted to ask for a shout out because you can choose the colours, and Soggy Rabbit's got a friend as well, so it could be Soggy Rabbit's friend Bestie. But meanwhile, let's get on with this picture. And I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on the difference as well between the two. Whether you can see a difference and what you think about the difference, because they clearly are quite different. So this is the one that's been done with the computer, and then this is the one that's being done by hand. And I'm going to do this hand-drawn one a bit more now, and try and bring it up, because it's not really a fair comparison until they're both at the same sort of stage. Okay. Right, let's get that lovely ginger pour in. And those markings. And it can be quite difficult when you're working with subjects like this to tell the difference between what's called local colour and shadow. So we have oh, hello, hi, you missed a shout out. The official King Bravo, welcome back. How are you? Thank you for rejoining. Have you been lurking? And right, we haven't got much further because I've been distracted. I have so far managed to offload my middle child on the Sarah, who's still labouring under the illusion that he would be nice to live with. So although I could run the risk of looking slightly disingenuous, because Leon has just made me a cup of tea. Anyway, all Sarah's got to offer me is boys, which is a bit disappointing, to be honest. Not quite what I had in mind. I was hoping for a new daughter. Not that there's anything wrong with my existing daughter. Oh, nice! What did you watch? I wonder if I'll know it. Someone on here will know it. And that's very nice that you're spending time with your granny. I'm going to go to an art gallery in Stroud with Leon's granny next week, which I'm looking forward to very much. I love grannies, they're great, aren't they? The Clove Hinch Killer. Oh, that sounds a bit scary. Was it scary? That's okay, Brian, you are allowed, you don't have to watch. There is absolutely no obligation, especially when you, so please, I can't have an apology for that. Anyway, Miranda and Sarah and Leon have been keeping, and Paul have been keeping us entertained. Right. Oh, okay. Is your granny into serial killer movies, or was she just happy to spend time with you? Thank you, Brian. Right, let's get this tail in. So, Miranda, you're saying the tail is white. There. I'm going to have a little, let me just check with the, I'm going to check how much space I've got, because I have to make sure I don't extend over the mount. Okay, so this tail will come here like that, and I can, and as I mentioned before, because I'm doing this by eye, I'm going to use the I'm going to make that slightly lighter, that yellow bit on the blanket there, but as we noticed from looking at the grayscale, it's actually not that light. She suggested your gangster. Right, well your gangster granny sounds pretty hardcore. She sounds great. Does she watch your stream? Doesn't she, does she play games with you? Right, let's get this one in. So I'm being a little bit cautious around the faces because I'm having to measure them as I go. So this is the drawing that was done by eye. And I would also, yeah, she does sound like a very cool granny. Right. And there are the shoulders. Okay, and some fluff here. Okay, so I was talking about local colour versus shade and tone. So, and these cats are a really good example of the fact that they have very strongly contrasting local colour, which is quite tricky for when you're oh yes, I do have more viewers. Yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it? Thanks guys. Well, Brian, thank you, and thanks everyone who's watching on Twitch. I have to say I'm really new to this streaming lark, and you're going to have to be like, lead me by the nose, tell me if I'm messing up, if I'm making things too loud, if it's tell me when it's getting boring. I just need your tips basically, and I'm so happy to have you guys here. It's really great. Thank you, that's very kind. That's very kind of you. I'm really happy to have you. Well, I hope you come back. I only stream on a Saturday because the rest of the time I'm busy like mothering Leon and the other children. But basically Leon takes most of my time. He's very demanding. You'll find, Sarah, you won't get anything done when he moves in with you. You won't get anything done. Even if you're really busy, he'll come up and he'll deliberately sabotage what you're doing just for his own amusement. There's no gain at all. He's really infuriating. But it's too late now. We've agreed. We're there. Right, here's the other duck. They're beautiful. This blanket looks so soft. Really nice. So, Miranda, what are you going to call your new dog? And what are your other dogs? Thank you, Sarah. That's fantastic. What would you come here even if Leon wasn't here? Oh, I suppose you could watch it together from your house. Oh, I see. You and Leon are like twin souls, are you? Okay. But, Sarah, if you don't mind me saying, if you've grown up in a house of boys, I can understand how you might have that energy. As in, the thing is, Leon's, maybe it's not a boy-girl thing. I think it might, thank you, Brian. I think it might be just a personality thing. See, like Brian, I can tell, would be really thoughtful. I reckon Brian would be tidy, thoughtful, and Leon's sister's really calm. Thank you, Brian. I stream from 3 o'clock UK time. So at the moment it's 4:30. If that helps work out the times. Miranda, it looks like Floss's tail is quite dark at the top. Is it? I don't know if it's like stripy. and let me just say, so another thing that's quite good to do when you're trying to judge proportions, when you're drawing freehand like this, is to imagine, and you can do this when you're drawing the people as well. Oh, you're in the USA! Oh wow, that's so cool. That's so nice. Great to meet you. This is becoming beautifully international. So what I was going to say is, if you're drawing like people or animals, a top tip for trying to get the proportions right is to look at your photo, and so here's the photo, and so take for example Floss here. So if I imagine that that Floss was to get up off the page, I can imagine how big she would be, whether she'd be like really skinny or more chunky, or and how long. And so when you're looking at your picture, if you're doing it by hand, by eye, then you can, one of the things you can do is just try and imagine if the person got off the page. So or if you're doing like a profile, imagine if they turned round and try and think, have I got the proportions right? And so for example, I'm looking at this and I'm just checking that the proportions here of Floss, and I'm looking at the shape of this as I can actually draw on here so you can see. So I'm looking at this shape here. So it's like this kind of shape like that. Almost like a saddle. And then I'm going to compare it with this shape on here. And I think that what I'm going towards is, I think I actually need to bring this back up just a tiny bit. But I think if my version of Floss was to step off the page, it would be quite a bit. Floss is bigger, right? Okay, thank you, Miranda. So yeah, I think my version of Floss isn't big enough, isn't like substantial enough. Yes, yeah, I really like it in the UK, but we don't get nice. The only place I've been to in the US is Florida. I went and worked there for a little bit when I was a programmer, and the weather was beautiful. I was in Clearwater. It was really lovely. Canada, absolutely lovely, but freezing cold. But then that's probably just where I was. Yes, that was because of you, Brian. Yeah, that was your top tip there. Right, let's have a look. Okay, so Miranda, does this... So let's have a look. Here is... So now we're starting to see, maybe you can see a little bit more the difference in the line quality as well. So I think this is something that possibly... if I move the camera up a bit, you can see. So just in the interests of comparison, so this picture here I drew with a head start with the computer. Oh, you want to? Oh, right, cool. Do before you die. Oh well, come to Bristol if you do. Bristol's been very much on the news recently. I don't know if you've been following, but Bristol is where the statue of Edward Colston was standing, and I've been walking past it without really noticing it for years. And in fact, so I don't know if you saw in the Black Lives Matter protest a year ago, the protesters pulled it down. Yeah, Bristol paper, exactly. So it was following the murder of George Floyd. The Bristol protesters pulled down the statue of Colston. And interestingly, my kids' school used to be called Colston's, and long before it became such a news agenda, it was debated at the school about whether the school should keep the name of Colston's, and how that played out in terms of the values of the school and the school community, and they decided to drop the name. So I think there are other places in Bristol which have inherited Colston's name because he gave a lot of money to the city, his ill-gotten gains. So yeah, I'm quite proud really that our school was a very early taker. So Bristol, yeah, Bristol. Statue Wars, yes it was. It was really interesting, wasn't it, Paul? There was a programme on the other night that Paul's mentioning where they showed what the Mayor of Bristol did and how he was trying to deal with the different interests. But yeah, so sorry, that was a very long answer to your question, Official King Bravo. I feel like you might have a name that I might be able to call you, but I'm going to keep calling you Official King Bravo. It's quite a mouthful. So whereabouts in the US are you then? And what I've no idea what it is that might attract you to England, the UK. I'm in the west. Bristol's in the west of England. It's quite wet here. Our microclimate makes it. You live in Ohio, right? My dog now. This is really embarrassing. Can you give me a clue? Is it like north or south? What's Ohio like? Near New York. Ah, right. Okay. Cool. I'd love to go to New York. If I could go to one place, I think it would, in America, it would be New York. Do you go there from Ohio sometimes? Do you go there for trips and shopping? And how is it for you living in the US? You've had a very turbulent time, haven't you? You've never been to New York, right? Yeah, it's been interesting times. So I don't know if you can see this, but one of the points I wanted to make was about the difference in line quality. So let's look at these a little bit closer because we're moving on with time. So this is the drawing which was drawn by hand by observation. So I'm just going to focus the camera in now that I've got a bit closer. So hopefully you can see there. Oh, you can actually see it better if I move it in there. Right, so I don't know if you can see, but it's got a lot more expressive line. So you don't like the USA? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I think it's probably very different living somewhere than going on holiday there. So I do sympathise. So what I was saying is that so this is much more sketchy lines, and when you're drawing by eye, you do tend to be a little bit more expressive. So possibly what I'm trying to say is that what you gain by tracing in terms of the proportions, you might lose a little bit in terms of expression. So Miranda, I would say actually what I'm going to do is I will give you both of these. So, oh, you're really kind, thank you so much. So I'm going to give you both of these, and then you can choose which one you like, or you can have them both, and then you can have a really close look. So so this is the freehand drawn one, which you know I like, and then this is the computer assisted one. So I'd be interested actually to know, Miranda, what you think in terms of the likeness, whether you think one of them looks more like Floss and Belle than the other one. But I'm going to carry on just kind of dotting between the two of them and chatting with you guys. We have three cats. I'm assuming we don't count Leon as a pet. So we've got 3 cats, and they are called Sausages, Mr. Sausages, and Pineapples, and Goose. So Pineapples and Goose are white cats, and they're pretty fluffy. They're half. I don't know if you've heard of a breed of cat called a Maine Coon. They are so they're pretty fluffy. Hello. Oh, look at this! So this is Mr. Sausages. You want to bring him closer to the camera? hello, Mr. Sausages. There. So Mr. Sausages, and this is Mr. Sausages' daddy. What do you love about Mr. Sausages? What do you love about Mr. Sausages? They can hear you.
He is.
He's very fluffy, yeah, he's really fluffy. Very thick fur. Have you
Like
brought
a
me
fluff
any
ball.
treats?
No.
Would you like to go and live with Sarah as well? Sarah's taking children
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, Leon's okay. Leon's busy packing his bag right now, so you can.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Perfect.
Okay, right. Deal. Who wants subscribers? I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm just looking to offload some children. I get so much more art done. Right. So yeah, I think I don't know about you, official King Bravo, but thank you. Yeah, what, the cat or the boy? The boy is actually very cute. He was very cute. He's, yeah, so he's the one who was like, oh, like that. Oh, Brian, you just missed my my youngest Tom, who's 9, coming in with Mr. Sausages. He brought Mr. Sausages in to show. And we were talking about line quality. Bravo. Okay, bravo. Thank you. That's brilliant. Yes, I can. That would be nice. So I worked in Sweden for 6 months, and I have to say I feel as though I really got to know the place. You know, they don't. When you're a tourist, you don't get the. You know, you see the charming face of a town, don't you? Like, I don't know what Ohio's, never having been to Ohio, but I'm guessing there are sort of bits of Ohio, are there, that the tourists... Thank you, Bravo. I'm going to call you Bravo if that's all right. So, yeah, I don't know. What in Ohio, what are the kind of tourist things there? We have in Bristol, we've got the suspension bridge, and we have so your youngest is 9, and how old is Leon? I thought you only had one kid. Well, yeah, the youngest is 9, and then there's Izzy, who's 16, who's just finished her GCSEs, and then Leon, who is going to be 15 in a few days' time. So yeah, that's plenty, isn't it, really? Plenty for anyone. You've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, do you go there? Is that like... Is that something... Sounds pretty cool. Or is it one of those things that just you go when you have visitors and take them to see it? Yeah, we have the suspension bridge. That's our main tourist, like the place where you go. Lots of other things, but Miranda, I expect you might have been to Bristol. If you've ever been to visit Tom. We've got one nice thing about Bristol is we've got 2 huge hospitals and 2 big universities, and what that means is that we have quite a nice lively, you know, we've got a lot of variety, so we've got a lot of young people, a lot of medics and nurses and doctors and things, so it makes for quite a lively community, which I like. I don't know, maybe it was the bit of Florida that I went to, but I felt as though Florida, like some places in the UK, was possibly quite an old population. maybe that's doing it a disservice, but certainly the people I worked with in Florida were lovely. They were really nice. But yeah, I was going to say, I think that I worked in Sweden, and can you see that all right? It's a terrible bounce light. Do you know why this is so bad? Oh right, okay. Well, Miranda, if you come back to Bristol anytime, do please let me know, and it'd be really nice to meet you. You can meet my cats. Yeah, and I think working somewhere is a really good way to get a feel for the place. So I'm just, as I'm looking at this, I'm glancing at that photo on the left, and I'm just looking and seeing the extent to which really I've not got this dark enough here. So I'm using the pencil on its side, and really trying to get the texture of the blankets. There's lots of tiny little bits. Now here's a top tip on texture. If you're doing texture on anything like fur on an animal, or in Bristol tomorrow, see you there. Oh, John, Brian, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Or Dubai. Brian and I both have connections with Dubai as well. Just saying that, as I hope, bravo, that we can get to know each other. So top tip on texture is you tend to have areas of shadow and areas of light, and the texture, a really good place to put the texture rather than just going and slavishly putting it all over, is it tends to be particularly in that bit between the darks and the lights, and that's where that texture is really visible. And I don't know if you can see, let's have a look at that reference photo, because I think you can see it quite clearly if I massively zoom in on this reference photo. Can you see on the blanket, you move that there, this bit right in the middle that I've got between the duck's head and the blanket, you can see all that texture, and that's because it's kind of cut in between the light and the dark. So if you're doing portraits or anything like that, and you get a sense of the texture, that's how and where to put it. Right, I'm going to swap back to this one, and let's get some more. Yes, please. Oh, that would be brilliant, Miranda. Really great. And I hope you'll come back on my stream. So I stream every Saturday. So if you're free on Saturdays, and also you can watch this back. So I always save my streams. They don't last on Twitch, and I'm hopeless at cutting clips. But I save my stream on YouTube, so you can watch this back. So this is the hand-drawn one. Now let's go and put a little bit more colour in here. I like the zigzag of the stitching on the blanket as well. I think that's quite a nice thing. Put that in there. And again, because I'm doing it by hand, by eye, rather than using the computer thing, I'm not really, I'm thinking about what you notice rather than what's actually there. So these stitches, probably I've done them a little bit big, but then they possibly make more sense, if you see what I mean, to the viewer. They play out more like you would actually see them. And oh, I followed this amazing guy on Instagram. I found him. He's a painter, and he's colourblind. So this painter actually has been, he seems to be able to tell warm and cool from each other. And he paints, and I'd never realised he does lots of self-portraits from photos of himself in the bathroom, which sounds unappealing, but it's just, he's dressed. I think he just likes the light in his bathroom. Yeah, so I am going to knock that back a little bit, because I want the lightest light to be the stitching here, where that catches the light in the reference photo, and the white of the cats, that really needs to kind of sing out we have blanket here, and I'm just going to put let's put the mount on. There we go, like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take the camera out a little bit and then you can see there. So I'm just checking that it fits still, because it'll go in this, and then so when it's framed it's got a little bit of breathing space. But this is only A5, which is half a sheet of A4 in terms of size, so I need to fit quite a lot of information in, and so I'm trying to go right to the edges for Miranda so that she gets as much image as possible of her lovely cats. Oh, my stream songs, well, I get them from Epidemic Sounds. So that's my top tip. I do pay a subscription. I was in somewhere else, I can't remember what it was called, but they didn't have stuff that was licensed on Facebook as well, so I stopped, and I find Epidemic Sounds are brilliant. Where do you get yours, by the way, Brian? Because yours was really good today on your stream. I really liked your music. And how do you play it? And another thing I thought you did really well today, Brian, was the way you were going onto your computer and showing your browser. And thank you. You were so generous doing that. My shout out for my Instagram. When I was trying to prepare, and I was really distracting, and I was thinking, you're so kind and you're doing this lovely thing, and here I am just not even answering. But thank you so much, that was really kind of you. And to return the compliment, which is, well, you would never believe, guys, if you're looking on Instagram, have a look at Brian's. It's the same name as his handle, Gyre Brian Fine Art, and if you look at his Instagram, you would never know that he's only 21. It looks like he's already been to art school. It's amazing. So he does still life, and I think, Brian, you know, like me, you like trying all sorts of things, so landscape and still life, and I think it's really good. So bravo, if you fancy trying some art, my top tip would be to do like Brian and do lots of variety. Yay, you're back! Oh, okay. Oh, the gremlins in Ohio got your Wi-Fi, did they? Right. So, what were we saying? Oh yes, you were saying about your music, some Spotify songs. Oh, you got yours on Spotify. I just looked for no copyright free. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Brian, as you're doing so well, and you've got so much support from people who are enjoying your stream and want you to get that camera. When you've got your camera, you could do another donation request for your music, for a music streaming service. I would highly recommend Epidemic Sounds. They've been brilliant. Now there's a nice thing here, I don't know if you can see, it's what you might call a lost edge. So this is Belle's, just where Belle's cheek goes to the blanket. There, let's go in close and you can see. There. So this is what we call a lost edge here. Okay. Oh, you've heard about Epidemic Sounds, right? Yeah. Maybe I wasn't using them properly, the other service that I had. And Spotify, I think lots of people do use Spotify. Because you can, is it Spotify? I think you can make it, you can tell people what's streaming. You can get it so that you can show what the music is, because it is nice to credit the artists, the musicians, I think, if you can. Right. So there's a lost dark edge here, and it really helps to show, I think, How Belle is just kind of like really buried into that blanket. So there's a dark lost edge here, and then a light lost edge here between Belle's nose and muzzle. So between that bit and that bit. And those sort of things, I think they're really nice in pictures, and it's really worth looking for lost edges. They're top tip for you, Paul. So Paul is also learning to paint and draw and doing all sorts of things. He's really up for and very very good at trying things. So I met Paul because he commissioned a portrait of himself, and he's an adventurous soul and has been very, very busy. And you know, that's how you do it, isn't it, Brian? It's just practice. You know, when you look back, I hope you agree, Paul, when you look back at the way you were painting and drawing, you know, when you first started, and compare it with now, that is one of the things about keeping your old drawings. I look back on a lot of my old stuff and I think, oh my goodness, I can't believe I actually thought that was okay. But it's all part of the journey. Forgiving yourself for what you turn out. Right. Another thing that's quite interesting when you're doing a picture, and I'll show you that I'll do this with mine. When you're doing something by eye, it can be quite hard to be objective about the proportions. So to help myself, I'm actually going now to flip this. So I can, right, I think I've flipped, yeah. So if you do this with pictures, if you're doing art, she has a dark tail too with a brown tip. Ah, okay, thank you, Miranda. So they've both got dark tails. Right, well that's easier because I don't have to worry about the design. But so I've just, what I was saying, Miranda, is I've just flipped this round. And it just gives me another look, and particularly when you're doing portraits of people, sometimes when you look at them really for a long time, you get so concentrated that you can't see your own errors. And if you flip the picture like I've just done, I'll flip it back again now. So, but you can always take a photo of your picture, or look at it in the mirror, or you know, look at it in a camera. So that's another thing as well, just looking on a camera at a different scale. Yes, I'm really, yeah, Paul, so you're, you know, you're really coming from leaps and bounds, and, you know, all that variety, doing the lino cut and doing all those different skills, it all really, really helps. You know, they all contribute to each other. So, right. So actually, I think I might have almost how long have we been going? Right, I'm going to stop in a minute and just chat for a few minutes. But here we are. Let's have a quick evaluation. So, right, so Miranda, this tail here is going to be dark then, on your word, like that. There. And I'm going to leave that bit there because that will show Floss's leg. There we are. Okay, and there's a little bit of blanket behind. Right, so let's have a look. What I'm slightly not happy with these lights and the shadow. I'm wondering if I can anyway, right, let's have a look critically. So here is the they are lovely cats, aren't they? Any work from the Middle Ages? Well, what was Dürer? He wasn't the Middle Ages, was he? He was later than the Middle Ages. I think he was maybe 16th century. So no, not really, really old. But I am a big fan of Dürer. I think his work is incredible, and you know, and Da Vinci. You know, Da Vinci was amazing with his fascination with nature and the diversity of everything he did. So I don't really go back past Dürer, actually. Maybe he was 15th century. So what about you then? Do you like art from the Middle Ages? and while I wait to see your reply, so this is the one that was done using the computer reference, and this is the one that was done freehand. So what do you think, guys? Do you think there's a difference? Oh, okay, ancient, yeah, especially I think the fact that it's stood the test of time, that it's around now, that shows its quality, doesn't it? So you know, I'm sure there's a lot of art that's been lost that was from ancient times, but yeah. Do you like things like calligraphy? Do you like things like something I really like is illuminated manuscripts? I think they are incredible. You know, there's a book called that I think, I'm not sure where it is. Do they? Oh right, okay. Thank you, Art. Thank you very much, Paul. Yeah, so they're just different, aren't they? And you know, part of training your eye is training your eye to be able to do this. So what I could do actually is if I line them up, and then maybe I can whip one away quickly. So this is a computer one, and then you can see the proportions are very different. So in my version, I've made the duck's head much bigger by accident, not by design. So I know that this is more of a correct proportion according to the picture, and so my eye was drawn to the duck, so I've made the duck bigger in my thing. So there's a proportion that's gone wrong, and but you know, the cats look pretty. They look pretty all right, I think, in terms of the scale. Okay, bravo. Well, so let me just come on chat because I want to say big thank yous, and so Miranda, I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope it's been nice for you to see your cats being drawn. So neither one is quite finished, but they're both you know, they're both far enough along that you can kind of get a being middle-aged, that I'm not sure. Well, I can tell you, Brian, as a middle-aged person, it's all right. It's quite good, actually. It has its advantages. Yeah, so I think it's just interesting, isn't it? It's just, you know, I think some people get really hung up on, they think it's cheating to trace, and it's certainly true that it gives you a head start. Thank you, Miranda. I'm really happy. Well, thank you for letting me draw these beautiful cats. I've had so much lovely feedback on the reference photo. People have said, what a lovely photo. So that's been really nice. Yeah, I mean, Miranda, you're the customer. You know, you can tell me what you think. You can tell me if I was to say A or B, and you know, and as I said, you can have them both. You know, they're yours either way. Maybe if I shade, maybe if I did a bit of there, right? Okay, so that's A, and that is B. I'll show you again. So there's A, and there's B. Maybe you can type in the chat which you prefer. Anyone, I'd be interested to know. There's A and B. And I don't have any investment either way. I think there's advantages to both ways, A and B. So yeah, so all I would do is just encourage you to have a play and try the app. You know, try it and see what you think. See, you can see how it definitely saves time. So I think a lot of professional artists who are quite capable of doing this, you know, they're quite capable of doing it by eye. They choose to use the computer because it's very helpful for you think B. Okay. Oh, rats. And now I can't remember which one it was. So Miranda, I'm really sorry, I can't remember which one is which. Right, so which one was which? Anyone know? B is the second one. So is this B? Is this B? I'm such a muppet. I'm going to hold that there a minute and say, is this B? You think, okay. Miranda, do we think this one? Do we think that was A? They're not finished, by the way, so I will finish them both. Okay. Well, thank you, Brian. That's really kind of you. So, so guys, oh, Miranda, you're so lovely. Thank you. So, the main thing to take away for me is it's all valid. It all has its situations where it's useful, and it all depends on what you want in the end. But ultimately, I'm a big fan of drawing from life. There's no substitute from having a thing in front of you and drawing and observing and training your eye to look at the thing in front of you and draw it. So if I had to choose, I would go and draw Belle and Floss in person, and that would be ideal. But you know, animals particularly, although Belle and Floss look like they don't mind sitting still. So yeah, I am ending now, Brian. I'm taking my leave. So guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I'll be back again next Saturday at 3 o'clock UK time, and you're all really welcome. It's so lovely to have you. Can I draw a bear? Yes, I sure can. Yeah, I definitely can. Yeah, okay, bravo. Yeah, I'll see you. So, bravo, just get in touch, and maybe I can do you a bear. Maybe if you find me a bear photo, I'll have a look. I could do one. I've done chickens. I did a. You want a bear as well, Brian? All right then. So what I might do is like the chicken stream. Okay, so I will send you all lots of love. Thank you very much, my dear friends, and I hope to see you next week. And go check out Brian, his stream. Oh yeah, okay, right. Right. Well, on that happy note, thank you. Thanks so much, Paul. Thanks everyone. Right, I'm going to go over to my bye-bye screen. Take care. Have a great weekend.